what's up, everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. We're coming at you with a super spicy episode 332, and we're recording on June 23rd, 2025. I'm Doug, and joining me today, we got Warren.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Anita.
Hello.
As a quick reminder, check out SojuTalk on your favorite podcast platform. Sub to us on YouTube, join the SojuTalk Discord, and be a part of the nation. A few announcements. Number one, it's like 100 degrees where Warren and I live. He has an aircon on. It might be loud. Deal with it.
Sorry.
Number two, something more exciting. We are going to be doing another Soju bomb. So a Soju bomb is when we go over a group's discography or a bunch of their songs. We're going to give them ratings similar to how we do the Soju score right now. And we're going to talk about it. And the group we're going to be doing is aespa because they are coming back next week. So it should be fun. We picked out 10 of their songs, and then we're going to add in the new one. What is it called? Dirty Work or something? What is it?
Dirty Work. You're correct.
Dirty Work. So we're going to have 11 songs in total. But you could rank the 10 previous songs on our Discord. So join that. It's in the YouTube description, the link to join our Discord. That should be pretty fun. Yeah.
Go join the Discord if you want to rate all aespa songs.
It should be live by the time you're listening to it. If it's not, please tag me on Discord to make me do it. I should be free at the moment you are tagging me. Just do it. Thank you. Big new releases. We have 3 this week. We have Hearts2Hearts with Style, KATSEYE, Gabriela, Baby Don't Cry, which is the P Nation debut with F Girl. Additionally, All Day Project released a performance video called Wicked, but it really seems like the not famous thing or the famous thing, I forgot what it's called, is the title track. So this is more like a B-side, so we're not covering that. So Hearts2Hearts, KATSEYE, Baby Don't Cry. Let's start with Hearts2Hearts. With Style, they are from SM. Their other song is The Chase. This was like a middle of the week release, kind of snuck up on you like a B2 bomber in the night. You know this one?
Damn,
God.
you can't.
We got
the world
Style
you live
here. You know what? Okay, last week we had Islet, right? And I was like, I love Islet's music. It speaks to me. I kind of like what did I call them? Hearts2Hearts music because it also kind of speaks to me too. I thought this was a very pleasant, refreshing. I don't know. Is it summery? I don't really know, but it's a nice bubblegummy girl group K-pop song, and I think it's a very safe song, and it doesn't have too much wrong with it.
I think
I would agree.
Yeah, I would agree too. It feels very light. Feels very summery. Feels very fresh. It's giving Pocari Sweat advertisement kind of a vibe. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very refreshing. You know.
Yeah, but you know the thing is, it's so kind of just like pleasant that there's not too much to talk about with this song. Is there, right?
Oh damn.
Well, I don't know if it was just me, but I think Hearts2Hearts, especially with this song, and I'm hoping they continue with something along these tracks, is I think they're trying to hit a very like not quite old school, but it's like a nostalgic feeling to like late 2010s, early 2000s, where I don't know if it's the instrumental, I don't know if it's like the way the melodies is written and like the top line, but it feels very like it's pop, but also kind of like I don't know. It just felt very nostalgic in a way, but without feeling too heavy-handed. I think it still had a lot of like the trendy modern sound enough to it that it didn't feel like it was just trying to be retro. I think I saw somebody else mention that this sounded like Kara back in the day.
Oh.
I don't remember what song they were referencing, if somebody can think of it.
Pretty Girl?
But I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Maybe. I think it might have been a song called Date. Was there a song called Date by Kara? I wasn't familiar with it, but I feel like I understood what they meant, but like, yeah, Kara's of that generation, 2010-ish, early 2010s, late 2000s, like very bright, very bubbly, like we mentioned, very general public friendly. And I feel like, okay, I can see how SM kind of wants to differentiate their girl groups in a bit. aespa has a very different vibe, so it makes sense that Hearts2Hearts is going this route. I also found it very interesting that they were pulling some visual aesthetics that I had not seen in a while.
The shuffling? Shuffling?
The shuffling?
They brought it back.
Shuffling
yo,
and those like knee-high Converse.
Yeah, they bought a lot of them. They bought a lot of them.
I felt like, oh my god, am I that old now? Like it felt
You
like,
are, Anita. You are.
You are, dude.
I didn't think I was gonna see that again. I was in like early middle school, I think, when I first saw those. So yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe that coupled with the sound felt like, oh, this feels very like familiar in a way, but so it's nice, but also fresh. So I don't know. I like where they're going with this. I think I prefer this over the Chase, to be honest.
It's very bubblegummy. It's very airy. Let's talk about the sound, because like even though it's not explicit in that way, if I think about Fruitiger or Aero, like this is the kind of sound I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like it's very
yes.
Right. It's very light. It's very refreshing. There's a good drive. Like I love the drums. It is a constant shuffling rhythm. A little bit of house going on in there. It's not quite deep house or anything I'd say it's house per se, but like that rhythm sits there in the background and it just keeps driving the song forward. Did we need the rap section? I don't know, but like I see what role it serves. It breaks stuff up before you move on to the next part, where it's like, you know, there's a nice bridge, and then you go into this chorus, which I thought the way the chorus stacks different vocals is pretty cool. I thought it's pretty nice.
I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Right. And then you get to the that part comes in. I thought it's pretty catchy. It's all right. It's not over the top. It's not constantly doing the entire song. So it felt like everything flowed really well. The pacing of it, you know, dare I say, is really good stuff here. On the other hand, if I had to pick out like something that makes me really excited about this song, I'm not really finding anything. You know what I mean? Like it's a little vanilla, it's a little sterile, and I think sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you want a little something more. I don't know. I was like, this is fun. This is cool. Am I gonna write home about this? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of where I stuck. And I was like, maybe one thing they could have done is like dig deeper into that kind of aesthetic with the Y2K or like Fruitiger era or like the late 2000s kind of aesthetic. But you know, I don't want to be prescriptive there. Just, you know, it felt very good. Felt like we're on a good move, but like at the same time, I was like, oh, you know, what is Hearts2Hearts right now? They're 8 girls having fun, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, maybe that's good enough.
Bad thing.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Okay. Some things I've noticed. Number one, they're pushing a couple kids really hard. SM is for sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Particularly Eon, like they're pushing this girl to the moon, and then the girl I call Novice, also known as Ju. They're pushing Novice a lot too. Like, and then the person who I've noticed has a ton of popularity is Carmen. You know, the Indonesian fans are really supporting her, which is a good thing to see. Hot take: Indomie is better than most Korean ramens. Just also saying that.
Throwing out hot
take.
I love
that's hot take. Get out.
That's a hot take. I like some Indomie.
I like both.
I'm taking over your Korean card.
That's fine. I don't know if I had much of one to start off with. Talking about this song, it is made by the main people in terms of composition and arrangement, Mike Daly and Mitchell Owens. These are people who have worked with a lot of American pop artists as well as K-pop artists. The lyrics are Kenzie, so she did have a hand in this to some extent.
Yeah.
So we got Western producers on an SM track, and honestly, it sounds really K-poppy though. So they did a great job of capturing that, I think. Another aesthetic I saw was they had sort of light up shoes, not the original light up ones, but like somewhat similar.
Oh, yeah.
That was also an aesthetic back in the day. I don't have too many negative things to say about Hearts to Hearts in this song, other than the fact like this is a good song, but it doesn't sound SME at all, which is surprising to me. Is it just me who feels that
vocals?
way? Like, yeah, the layer. There's no. Well, we do have outside producers, right? But I don't feel like the typical SM voice layering or things like that. Those typical sound effects, which maybe that's a good thing for them, because aespa has an extremely SME sound, right? So the departure from that.
Well, I also want to think about like how we define the SM sound nowadays, because like it is heavily defined by NCT, aespa, the project groups, you know, and then like the newer shiny stuff, the newer EXO stuff. Like there was a period where the style that Dem Joints was working on was really all over SM. It worked for certain groups and certain assets, but like I don't think it fits everybody, and that was kind of where it was headed. But then you got NCT Dream, then you got Rise, and you could kind of tell they were exploring outside options. And I feel like if I think about Rise, for example, they don't really fit that SM sound of like the late 2010s, early 2020s either. So on one hand, I do appreciate that they've kind of moved on from it. Because if I think about SM in a larger scope of timeline, my head goes back to Girls' Generation or FX or like Super Junior, where like, sure, SMP was as a phrase was always kind of there, but like, you know, it didn't incorporate like what's 다시 만난 세계 in English? The world we met again in the debut song from Girls' Generation.
Into the New World.
Into the New World isn't particularly SMP or like modern SM sound either. So like I appreciate that they're kind of evolving away from it. aespa has been, you know, doing new things instead of doing the same thing over and over again with like hyper pop or like trap based music. So on one hand, I don't hate it. And like it's not like the SME cliches are missing. Like the whole chorus is vocal stacks, you know what I mean? Like yeah. So like that, you know, sure, they're not in the Kwangya and they're not fighting fucking Black Mamba and there's not like, you know, 80 of them.
Because they have Novice already in this group, guys. They don't have to be in the Kwangya. You know, one interesting thing is this is a digital single. There's no physical with this, I believe.
Yeah.
Interesting decision. Number two, the other thing I wanted to say is just based on the age of the members, it's not like we're going to do a dark concept. We have like 15-year-olds in this group, like 2 to 3 15-year-olds in this group.
Yeah.
We have a couple 16-year-olds. I think the oldest member is 18, barely 18, right? So this is a very young group. They got a lot of time to do other things. I think it's good that they're kind of in this bubblegummy vibe because number one, age appropriate. Number two, keeps them very different than aespa, right? I think it's the right move to do right now, especially because like, you know, aespa's still in the thick of it, in the thick of their prime right now. This group probably has to ramp up a little bit more. So I think that as of now, with 2 releases, I kind of like what Hearts to Hearts is doing. That being said, it is kind of that SM thing where the first couple of years, there's like this exclusivity thing about the group where you don't really see the members outside of the music videos, you know?
Yeah.
It's that SM always does that though, where they don't really instantly throw the kids on Variety or anything like that, right? But that's just the way they've always done things. Whether that's the right move or wrong move, I don't know.
I mean, it paid off for aespa.
Yeah.
Where like, even though the first couple tracks didn't particularly do well, eventually Next Level came out and they reached a complete, you know, different plane in terms of success. So like, I think it could work. Do I think Style is going to be that song that pushes them into like the mainstream level of I don't know.
Nah.
You never know.
I mean, it could.
It's not.
You know, it could.
It has 5 million views after 5 days.
Well, like, okay, here's the thing. I hated Next Level when it dropped. I still don't like Next Level.
Okay.
But like, it was the craziest success that year. So like,
for me though, who likes bubblegum girl group K-pop sounds in 2025, hey, we're doing well right now. We got the Island song,
It's good.
and then Style back to back. Okay, I'm happy about that. And next week, I think I get aespa next week, and From is 9. we're doing well.
Ooh.
We're doing well. I can't complain too much. Do we have anything else to say?
It's good stuff. Y'all should check it out.
Good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's pivot. Okay, you could describe our coverage of Gnarly. Okay, I'm gonna drop something spicy. We were called the cancer of K-pop at one point.
Oh shit!
Our review of Gnarly. That was something. Well, KATSEYE is back with Gabriela. They are a group that is under Hybe, UMG, and Geffen. It's kind of a collab group. They were on the Netflix doc, all that stuff. Last 3 songs: Gnarly, Touch, Debut, which are all very different songs. Another very different songs. We got some Latin vibes with this one with Gabriela. Okay, Anita, as a Hispanic person in the room, how do you feel about Gabriela?
The song itself I thought was pretty nice. The beat is really cool. Like you got some of that Spanish guitar sound in there, but then it picks up in the chorus, like more like the drums. It's like more, how should I say? Like it tries to make it more trendy. So I think it's a good mix. I think it makes sense what it's trying to do. The biggest thing, or like the biggest, I don't want to call it like a shock factor, but like what I remember most about this release was the music video. So it has like a very like old school telenovela type of vibe, like a soap opera, you know, like what you would see on TV. And it's like you can tell by the way it's filmed, like it's very like grainy, and like some of the sets and the very dramatic, like chaotic scenes where they fight each other. It's interesting. I'll say that. We got a feature from Jessica Alba in the beginning.
Hey, shout out to Jessica Alba. Wow.
Yeah, like that's kind of crazy that she was a part of this, but it's cool. I'll say this. I think I almost felt like it took a little bit away from the song, the fact that there was so much going on visually. And it's very much like it started with a storyline, right? Like they're supposed to be like trying to replace Jessica Alba's character in this company, I think, and like who's going to be the next boss, something like that. And then it kind of just gets out of hand, where they just start fighting each other in different sets and like a reality TV show. I don't know. I think it's cool that they're trying different things, because it's nothing like Gnarly, nothing like Touch or Debut. I kind of wish it would have pushed more of the song. I wanted more shots of them dancing. The dance looked really nice, but we didn't get a ton of it. And the song itself is quite short. I believe it's like 2 minutes 30 seconds, around that. So I don't know. I wish it would have done a little bit more with the song itself, because the vocals are really nice. The vocals really shine in this one.
Definitely agree with you in that the vocals sound really good. I gotta say, this is my favorite of the 4 we have right now, between Touch, Debut, Gnarly, and now Gabriela.
Me too.
Yeah.
This might be number 2 for me.
Okay.
I don't have the greatest exposure to Latin pop. I'll have to admit, like,
Neither do I.
I listen to Cali Uchis, and that's about it. So like I don't want to set my bar too high. You know what I mean?
Ricky Martin,
sure.
Enrique Iglesias,
Oh,
Daddy Yankee. Yo, let's go. He's not pop, but you know, Pitbull.
Do we count Pitbull as Latin pop? Really, like
he's Latin enough. Come on, give it to him,
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Kodak. On Times Square. Sorry. Okay. So, like Anina mentioned, the guitar is there. There's like this dual track guitar going on. For me personally, I didn't really hate it. I thought the sense of rhythm is kind of there between the top line and the drums. The chorus where they go hands off Gabriela, la la, and like they kind of rhyme off of the la 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 la, you know, like that. I don't know. I felt like that had a groove to it. It, you know, it never really specifies exactly what is Gabriela within the song itself. And I feel like that, that kind of adds to the fun of it. It's not too over the top. It's not too in your face. Kind of keeps it vague, but in a pretty entertaining way, personally. That kind of, I don't want to say fire, but like, that the energy you see in the video, I thought is kind of portrayed in the song, Now, it is a little more aggressive in the video, and I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it's funny. I didn't hate it at all.
Well, I have some parallels. I have some thoughts about the music video.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm a product of the 90s, right?
Sure.
Back in the day, on like shitty CRTVs and like grainy TVs and stuff like that, right? We would sit there and watch like shitty television, right? Like for Hispanic people, it might have been telenovelas. Is that, I believe that's how I say it. But for like my generation, we were watching like Maury Povich and Jerry Springer, and it was always just like grainy and trashy and people fighting, and that's a lot of what this is invoking, right? I feel like, and to me, like, I got it. It was like cheesy and trashy, and that's the shit we used to watch back in the day on like a hot summer day. The AC ain't working too good. This is the type of shit, and it just like brought me back there, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
It was also cool seeing that like duo tone where like it's on most of the music video, it's like they're in a set, they're fighting on this show where they're acting, and then they cut away, it's a set, and you're like, for a second you're like, oh, they're filming a show, it's KATSEYE, they're doing a thing. And then, they start fighting in real life. Someone pulls out their Invisalign and like, they're like, how dare you? And they start fighting in real life, and like, I don't know. I feel like that kind of messaging was kind of clear where it's going, and that was kind of fun. Like, to me personally, I don't want to compare this to Gnarly, but I kind of have to, given that like that's the previous song that we got from them, and it's the other track on the EP that you're leading with. I don't know. It felt like it was doing a lot better job of showcasing the members' vocals. I think they. I didn't really pay attention to who's who because they all sounded pretty good. The song sounds pretty put together. Is it like a great 4-minute 30 banger? No. But like, I'm not expecting that from K-pop anymore. I've given up. But you know what I mean?
The actual audio version is 3:17.
Is it? Yeah. No wonder it didn't feel too short. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
I want to give it some shout outs. The vocalist that stood out to me, Lara into Sophia, I thought they did a fantastic job. Specifically, shout out to Laura Raj. That girl absolutely killed this shit, I thought. Number 2, I like how we got a Spanish language verse from Daniela. I thought that fit.
Yeah.
Considering she is of Venezuelan, Cuban, Italian heritage, made sense to me. Thought that worked as well. I enjoyed this one a lot. I thought the acting was funny. I like how the cat one at the end, spoiler alert, that was also interesting. To me, okay, number 1, I'm a Gnarly apologist. We all know this. I've stated this.
Damn, get out of here.
Or I kind of okay with Gnarly at this point. I think it's fun. Also, they performed it at the clean version at the Kids' Choice Awards, and they got slimed at the end as well. Nickelodeon. It's on Nickelodeon.
I forgot that was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they got slimed. It's kind of funny. You should check that out. It's kind of weird though. They're twerking in front of kids, but it happened. I like what KATSEYE's doing. I like the diversity they're bringing. I think they're doing a great job of managing this group because they primarily live in LA, but whenever they have a comeback, they ship them out to Korea so they could do it on the music shows, right? But then in the downtime, they're hanging out in LA, and I see them popping up on like Twitch streamers that I watch. They're always popping up in interesting places, or I see them taking pictures with like Doja Cat randomly. I'm like, okay, they met Doja Cat. Man. They, like, you know how they say partying in the Hollywood Hills? They actually party in the Hollywood Hills. Like, they're hanging out with really big celebrities typically in LA. I think that the companies are doing a good job of managing this. I think they are getting a decent amount of Western exposure now too. And I think if you even read the comments in like the Korean language comments on the music videos and stuff like that, it seems like they're pretty impressed at the skill level of the kids in this group, which I think is the real testament.
There you
what
go.
is going on. Like, I saw so many comments in Korean talking about Daniela dancing in Gnarly because she was trying so hard, right? In all this live stages. So I like what KATSEYE is doing. I like this song. I think the vibes were immaculate on this one. I thought the vocals were great. You know, we don't hate Gnarly. Like, just because some people don't like the song doesn't mean we're trying to send any hate to them. I just personally, on a meta level, don't feel like not liking something doesn't equate to hate. That's my endpoint.
I agree with you. I feel like that episode, I think we made it pretty clear what the point was. With one quick question before we move on, particularly because I don't listen to a lot of Latin pop, like I said. The extent of it is like Kali Uchis, which like she's not just Latin pop. So, like, my question to you, Anita, who you're, obviously a little more familiar with this side of music worldwide, is like, how does this feel, like, in terms of, like, feeling real? Does it feel like good, well-made K-pop take on Latin pop? Does it feel like parody? Like, does it feel like a good homage? Like, what do you think?
Well, to me, it didn't feel like it was a take at all because the demo for this was, I don't know if it was written, but I know that she recorded a part of it. Brazilian singer Anitta, double T, Anitta. So I think she had a hand in it because I know she worked on the demo. I think somebody else also worked on it. I'm blanking on who it was, but I heard the demo. I think that demo was out in like about 2 months ago. Like there's clips of it on YouTube. She also had a different Spanish speaking verse, which I thought was interesting. I don't know why they changed it. I think the first one made sense, but so I feel this feels like it was written as from Latin pop artists, and it was just given to KATSEYE. Like it was adapted to KATSEYE. So it feels very appropriate. It feels pretty accurate, I guess, or genuine because it is made by Latin artists. I think they had a hand in it as well. So
I mean, I could give you the credits because I don't. It's primarily not Hispanic. We have Andrew Watt and John Ryan as the primary songwriters. Also supported by Ali Temposi. I'm not exactly sure who that is. You have Charlie XCX on here, and then Sarah Shell.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know Charlie worked on it.
Yeah, same.
I wonder if they worked with Anitta then, because I know she recorded a version of it, so I don't know how she was involved.
It might be simple enough where Anita's under UMG and they're under UMG.
Or like they're friends.
There might be a connection there.
Like,
there might be some connection.
Maybe like the songwriter, maybe like Andrew Watt and John Ryan wrote up a demo and they're like, well, we can't sing this part. We're not.
Oh, okay. The other person who also reportedly did a demo was Rita Ora.
Really?
But she's not Latin pop, to be honest. But so I don't know. I think the song seemed to be like around for a while as well, like gnarly in a way. And a lot of people worked on it, but I think it has a genuine Latin pop sound. I think it sounds.
The vibes are great, though. I thought the vibes were nice.
No, that's always that's something I always think about is like whenever K-pop does its own take on like hip hop or like some other genre that I'm more familiar with, my head goes to, okay, does this feel like a good how good of a take it is? Because like so much of K-pop is built on like interpreting existing sounds, whether that's hip hop or rock or like different sounds of pop music, and whether that's J-pop, and like you always come to wonder, okay, like just like the cultural aspect of it aside, like you have to wonder at a certain point, is this like a good reinterpretation? Is it a parody? Is it you know what I mean? Like, is it like a good...
because you could end up with Kira's Kill My Boss. You know what I mean? You could end up with that. No, really,
sure.
Right? Like, not to throw any hate to them, but like, that's what you could end up with.
And like, for all things considered, I feel like that was a good attempt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but then you have like AT's over here with ice on their teeth. So he's.
So quick aside, I've been playing GTA Online because I'm getting hyped for GTA 6, which is coming out next year, right?
Yeah.
I was cruising through Los Santos, which is the video game version of Los Angeles. I was in East LA and Gabriela came on in my car.
Oh, really?
The
Yeah.
vibes were good. No. I was playing it on my second screen, the music for today.
Oh,
And Gabriela
yeah.
came out when I'm driving through the primarily Hispanic area. I'm like, the vibes are good right now. You know, it makes sense. I was like surprised. Because like I was driving through this area and I heard some guy yelling at me in Spanish, and then I was listening to Gabriela, and I was like, "Bro, this all fits." And you know the funny thing in that game, if you drive through Koreatown, dudes yell at you in Korean too. It happens.
Paul.
Yeah. There's a Korean gang, and you can like fight them. It's
Put
funny.
your number in my iPhone 16 Pro Max.
All right.
Hey there,
Dad,
don't
Cat's
do
Eyes,
it.
Gabrielle. Let's move on to the final song this week. Baby Don't Cry, their debut with F Girl. They are from P Nation, and for all intents and purpose, we think that Soyeon is the creative director of this group, something like that. We know she's a heavy hand on this group.
She's been noted as the executive producer and the producer of this project.
And then their last song was a pre-release called Bet You'll Regret It, which we did not cover last week. But we have F Girl. Before we get into the song, there's been controversies about this one, right, guys?
Not again.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw two controversies.
Yes.
The first one, the word F Girl. The second one, with the first teaser and the perceived quote unquote what people said was a condom. The company said it was a candy, but like to be honest, it kind of looked like a condom. These are the controversies we're dealing with this song, right?
Yes. I can explain the F Girl thing if you want to take a moment to talk about that. Okay.
Yeah. Explain to people at home why the word F Girl could be controversial.
Okay. And for context, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on the English language and the good old
Yes.
한국어, you know, put your number.
Yeah.
Are you the open-minded? Greatest Korean word ever exists. I'm just kidding. So clearly, when you say the word F girl, I think we all think of
F boy.
yeah, the girl version of F boy. You know, like something that isn't
F-U-C-K,
super positive. Yeah.
F-U-C-K.
Obviously, that's where my mind went to when I read the word F girl. It was like, okay, it's a little, not something I would have chosen. It is what it is.
Here's the definition of an F boy from Urban Dictionary, guys. I'm whipping out the Urban Dictionary. The official definition of the term F boy is an immature male who uses girls to their own benefit. They will speak to one girl as if they have some feeling towards that girl, but low-key they're talking to other girls saying the exact same thing. That's
Okay.
a pretty good descriptor.
I guess an F girl would be the girl version of
opposite,
that,
girl version
who
of
does
that.
it to boys or girls who are Lebanese. I don't know. You choose your poison, right? My take, well, actually, the P Nation take on that was like, no. The F here is actually A, B, C, D, E, F, F as in the grade. And the song is about a girl who's like, clearly not doing well in school. And like, she's like, you know what? I don't care. I'm a terrible person. Who gives a fuck? I don't care. That kind of a person. And for all intents and purposes, if you look at the lyrics, it is actually
Right.
very clearly, that is very clearly the intent.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
So-
I understand that too.
Right. From a Korean perspective, I saw a couple comments that were like, "Oh, you guys are Korean. You guys don't use the English letter grading system." And I'm like, "Well, we do use the grading. We're familiar with it. There are certain aspects of the academic system in Korea that uses it. Some parts of it use 수미anga, which is like the older version, but there are aspects that use A, B, C, D, and F. We don't have an E, I think. What I will say is, I personally feel like it is maybe a possibility where they're like, oh, they had that idea in mind. Their mind just skipped over the part where F could mean something else and then went to that. Do I think someone should have stopped them from happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I am willing to give him the benefit of the doubt from my perspective. Take that with a grain of salt.
What you're saying is,
Yeah.
should someone had stopped Soyeon because she's the only lyricist?
Should someone have stopped Soyeon, or anyone should have? Should anyone at the P Nation should have been like, F in English happens to be the one swear word we're really familiar
Could we
with.
double check to make sure it doesn't
Yeah.
mean something else?
All right, that one I could give a pass on because in the song it's very clear that that's what they're going for. It's like the great thing. It's in the lyrics. It makes sense. The other issue with the teaser number 1, when the girl's in the convenience store and walks up and throws something on the counter, but it turns out it's a candy. Like, to me, to probably anyone in the West, I don't know about Korea, but anyone in the West, it looks like the girl's buying a condom. Let's be straight up here.
No, I think
anyone
Korean
disagree?
people saw it as a condom too. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I think that one's a little bit more egregious.
The packaging, yeah.
Yeah. Especially like, okay, there's a 19-year-old, there's a 17-year-old, there's a 17-year-old, there's a 16-year-old in this group. People were not very happy about that.
That, I mean, to be honest, I think that one, like, I feel like I understand, like, if I step back, I kind of see that it was meant to be provocative. It was meant to be, like, I don't know if maybe Soyeon's mind was like, oh, you have people who thought it was this when it actually isn't. Like, you had, like, I don't know, like, you were thinking wrong, right?
Like you're
eventually,
the
it's not
dirty-minded
always that.
person, you know?
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah.
But to be honest, knowing like this is the debut, knowing that the ages of these girls, it almost feels like why go that route? It's like right now, like why do this critique in this way when it almost feels a little, when it feels a little uncomfortable, a little inappropriate to see, right? Like I'm not saying it's wrong, like what they did was wrong or anything. It's just like the context of it, like
Okay, let's
the
just
girls'
get to it.
ages,
It's provocative, and then people then start adding things together. They go, oh, the cherry is their main like icon, right? Okay. And then they see the title of the song. They go, okay. And then they see Soyeon made the song.
It
and
started
they go,
adding a little too much.
Okay, right? Yeah, like
Uh,
I don't know.
You also have to add in the additional context in Korea, where like I think it was like 2020 or something, 2020 or 2021, where the Ministry of Women and Family specifically called out that there was a lot of controversy around like access to condoms at that point, and they made it clear that regular condoms should be purchasable by underage people, but specialized condoms shouldn't be purchased by like there was a lot of word around that.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm going for.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is socially not talked about either. Like there is a good amount of, I'd say, healthy discourse around this in Korea, particularly among the audience that would be excited by a Soyeon output. So, you know, based on the kind of messaging Soyeon has been putting in her music, I think it's pretty clear what she's going for, and like I can see where she's going with all of this. But then, you know, like, I'm also like, this isn't a G-Idol release. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's a good pivot. Yeah, that's a good pivot about the song, right?
This is someone else. You're producing for someone else. You know what I mean? Like, you could have easily had that sort of messaging with your G-Idol comeback, where, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a different level of responsibility. I don't know.
Do we like the chorus? A, B, C, D, E, F, girl. Do we like this? Let's start with there.
Do you guys hate it? You speak primarily English-speaking kids. You two. What do you guys think?
I think the presentation of it and the way it sounds, it like. My overarching feeling about the song is that I think they got the energy of the song wrong.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh.
I thought you wanted to talk about the chorus. Now we're gonna talk about the tone. Which
Well, it's connected because the chorus is the main factor of that. My feeling is so the vibe of the song is like, you can't control me. Like, I got an F, so I'm just gonna own it, right?
Right.
So the whole vibe of the song is like, I don't really give a shit, you know? Like, who cares? And to me, I get that that's the energy that they're expressing, but for me, overall, it came off as more low energy than angsty, I don't give an F. And that's my problem with the song. Not only in the singing, but also in the choreo. Like, they do some moves that are small on purpose, you know? Like, sort of low energy on purpose. And for me, that all just kind of added up to, like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like it didn't come off perfectly what their intent was to.
So what you're saying is it didn't come off as like laid back. It comes off as lazy.
And a little bit disinterested.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like those two things are like, you know, they're
they got moves that are just like, you know,
two arms up in the air.
Yeah, right. Like moves like that. That's what I meant by the choreo. They just like barely moving in some of the choreo.
I mean, it's not like there's a huge level of energy in the vocals either.
No.
I do think there are points when it works well. Like, I know her name very clearly, Kumi, in the intro to the second verse. You know,
okay.
I thought she sold that part. You know, like
I have thoughts on that. I like her introducing her name before her rap section in the middle of the song. I thought that made sense. Cool. I know who Kumi is now. What I didn't completely like was after the girl puts the candy in the mouth, right? That's provocative. We pan over to Kumi and she just says, "I'm Kumi." And I'm like, are we having introductions here? Are we all gonna introduce ourselves now? And she just does that, and then it's like, okay, I guess we're not doing introductions. And she just moved on. And I thought it was cool and novel one time when we did it, but I thought in the front it doesn't make sense because you have to think in the meta in K-pop, everyone either like says the name of the song or their group name or a catchphrase at the beginning. And I was here thinking like, does Kumi mean something? And then I found out, oh no, it's just this girl. Her name's Kumi. You know? I didn't like the front application of that.
I don't know. I thought it was just kind of quirky. It's whatever.
It was
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's go back to the chorus where like it's literally just A B C D E F girl, and you know they go back and forth between that a couple times, and like I saw a lot of people reacting to it saying like, oh, these lyrics are too in your face and like it's terrible. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, now you guys know how I feel. This is how does it feel to feel my shoes?
I guess this is like, I just cannot. I should be able to evaluate the song and not think about Soyeon, right? Like I shouldn't be constantly referencing her creative output as an artist with Idol and now with this, but I just feel like I find myself saying like, oh yeah, well this makes sense because it's Soyeon, but I feel like, but should it? Like I don't know. I have conflicting feelings about like, should a producer like Soyeon or anybody, should they be the ones that give an identity to the group, or should they be the ones that work with the group and create a different sound for them, you know? Because I feel like right now I'm hearing something that, I mean, it's pretty cool. I was thinking like, oh, she's it's going the route of like a pop or like a pop rock vibe, like the Olivia Rodrigo aesthetic that was kind of popping up not too long ago.
Right.
And I feel like, okay, that makes sense. That's kind of trendy, I guess. But it's a Soyeon take. It's her interpreting that sound. But I also feel like, I shouldn't be referencing Soyeon all the time. Like I should be thinking about like the girls, like what do they bring to the group? Like how is their identity as a group being built apart from being produced from Soyeon? I feel like that's where I'm have conflicting feelings right now. Where,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I feel like your criticisms are pretty valid. You know? I think Doug was probably going to say the same thing.
No, I was going to say, in a similar vein, there are certain sound effects and ad libs in this song that if you close your eyes and you played the ad lib, I would say this is Soyeon singing. It sounds so similar to her. There's a specific sound effect that like 41 seconds in where someone's go right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's intentional or not, or I don't know if it's her or it's not her. It sounds just like Soyeon.
Like those vocal riffs.
Those vocal riffs in the background, not them singing, but like some of the vocal riff sound effects. It sounds just like Soyeon. And then I saw on the Discord people talking about, oh, this part could have been like the main criticism people had on the Discord was that certain parts of this song sounded like, oh, Minnie would have sang this part. Oh, this is the Mion part. Oh, this is the Yugi section, right?
Yeah. No.
And then once I saw those comments, and then I watched this music video thinking that, I could kind of see what they were saying.
I mean, it's crazy that you say that because like I typically don't check out the Discord reactions until we're done recording the show. And I myself was like, oh, like the bridge sounds like something Mion would sing. The first verse by Kumi sounds like something Minnie would sing. And like, I wasn't particularly paying attention to the fact that the G-Idol leader is producing this. And yet my mind was going to those things kind of organically on its own. So I feel like that says something, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, mine was like pretty heavier before I listened to this song because I woke up and read the comments and then watched it. But for you, as someone who didn't do that, it's interesting that you stumbled upon the same kind of conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and like, that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I do want to put a shield on there because like, I feel like the song itself aesthetically does a lot to like set itself apart from a G-Idol song where like I'm not particularly annoyed by it. And if anything, I was going to mention those things today. They're in my notes right now as like, oh, like this is pretty cool. You can tell that the producer is working on this. And like if you flip this the other way around, the narrative could easily be, it's really cool that a producer has their own sound and is willing to, you know, make it fit for another group and like yada yada yada. There's a very positive spin you could give on this. Now, that being said, I think the issue for me personally is that if there's this many people who are like turned off of the way it sounds like another group, I'm probably in the minority there. You know what I mean? Like I will pay attention to that. And like it's interesting. For anybody at home who hasn't checked out the song, definitely go check it out because it's an interesting experience. The song itself, on face value, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If I'm completely honest, like
it's pretty. Yeah, it's all right.
Right, like I'm not particularly impressed by like the vocals or the rap or like, but like I thought it was kind of cute and like the kind of concept they were going for, the controversial aspects of it aside, if you take those parts away, if you lift that apart, like it does feel juvenile where it's appropriate for their age. They're like where they're singing about
okay,
I received an F, I'll own this shit, whatever. Like, sure, it makes sense if you think about it from that perspective and like the way you know the lyrics go about it from the very beginning to the end. It's like, okay, sure, like you don't like school, you're bored of studying, you like to play with your friends. That's the opening line to the lyrics. I get it. I think that all checks out and it works. But then you add all this additional context of like, oh, like Soyeon is working on this and like yada yada yada, and like and then you have her track record with English and the way she writes songs, and like then you start noticing these things a little more clearly. So I feel like it's a little difficult to consume these things in isolation, if I'm completely honest. Am I ever gonna like turn the song off because it comes on? No. I mean, whether you like it or not, whether it's intentional or not, it's getting a lot of conversations going.
That's true.
There is the fact that Soyeon worked on this so heavy-handedly from the get-go was going to generate a lot of conversation. Now the question is, what's your next move? Right?
Yeah.
Does Psy follow through and continue making a G-Idol branded girl group? Or does he pivot? Because, like, it's not like I trust Psy's production abilities either. Like, let's be honest. What's the last thing from Psy you liked?
That I like it. That.
Yeah. Guess what? Psy didn't produce that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So some closing thoughts. I think this Disney punk sound, it's okay. It's more like when your little stupid brother gets yelled at and he's like, F school. And I'm like, all right, kid, get on the bus on Monday. You're still going. You know, that's what it felt like. Yeah, just okay. I think they're gonna, you know how sometimes when we mention the group Zykers, we're like, they're gonna struggle sometimes to differentiate themselves from ATs. I think in a similar vein, I think until Soyeon really gives this group a very distinct style, a style distinct from G-Idol, there's going to be these comparisons that happen, right?
Yeah.
I think that's inevitable. I wonder what's going to happen going forward. That being said, I'm interested to see her try to differentiate this group. That should be cool.
Yeah.
And I think just calling this group G-Idol Junior, I think that's a little short-sighted.
That's a little,
I think
yeah.
we need a little more time to see if that's actually going to be the case.
As much as I have like a weird history with like G-Idol songs and reviewing them on the show, like I generally believe in Soyeon's production skills. I do. Like there have been songs that she produced that I think have been really good. Like the last the third song title track from QWER was from Soyeon.
I was going to mention, yeah.
Yeah, My Name is Malcolm. Like that you could kind of tell that the Pop Time Soyeon duo is behind the song there, but like at the same time it felt very QWER. So like, you know, she's only been producing for like what, like 5 years now? 5-6 years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like it's not like I think I don't, the argument going around that she's a terrible producer and she should stop working on it, I don't think that checks out really.
Nah.
But on the other hand, you know, you do also have to note that the last couple G-Idol songs have not been as successful. And like, you know, like that, you know, at a certain point you have to answer to your investors. I don't know. It's an interesting position for her to be in. It's an interesting position for these kids to be in. I'll tell you that, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens because it's interesting because this is not a cube group, right? I think that's another layer of this that we're gonna have to see going forward what happens. How much of how much leeway will P Nation give Soyeon if she continues to make all of their songs? All right. Let's go to the other releases this week. Moonbear released Icy Baby pre-release. Yugyeom released 2 songs, Interluna, Shall We Dance. Nao's released Fly to the Youth featuring Yugo. Yugi, not Yugo. Yugi's on this one. G-Idol's Yugi. B-Boys debut with I'm So Sorry But I Love You. Yuksung Jae with At Last. VV Up with Giddy Boy. OXN, which is an Omega X subunit, released You. We have 2 B-sides from ITZY and Hypen, Kiss and Tell, and Outside, respectively. Gravity, Set, Net, Go. These Gravity's pre-release photos were the funniest photos I've seen in a hot second. If you guys have not seen them, these boys had a slippery egg primordial goop like teaser photos for this one, where all the boys got sticky together.
What?
Like they're coming out of eggs in slime, dude. It's the weirdest shit. You guys gotta check that
aliens?
out. Yeah, they're like alien boys, but they're like getting sticky with the bros. It's crazy.
Okay.
So go find those photos. And then we have Choopyeong's Wooyoung with Simple Dance, and then All Day Project performance video of Wicked. All right. Let's pivot on to the Soju score. On episode 331 last week, AT's Lemon Drop got a 5.4 6.45. Artemis Icarus got a 6.89. Islet Do the Dance got a 6.84. I'm still listening to that one all the time. All Day Project Famous got a 6.31. Say What You Want, but that song's like top 10 on Melon right now, so I guess they are pretty famous. Wow. Let's see what else we got. All right, the songs this week: Hearts2Hearts Style. We got KATSEYE Gabriela, Baby Don't Cry with F Girl. That is their debut. Let me get this thing up real quick. All right, the first song, we got Hearts2Hearts with Style. Oh, last week I gave Islet. Did I give him a 9? Or did I give him an 8?
No, you gave him an 8.
I gave him an 8. Okay, I wasn't smoking the good stuff. This week I am also not smoking the good stuff. I gave this one a 7 though. I enjoyed this one. I would recommend this one.
Oh, okay. I also gave this one a 7. I had a good time. I'm liking this. I think it would grow on me over time too. I think I've been listening to it a little bit more. But yeah, it's a 7.
Yeah, I had a good time. A good means a 6, so I got a 6.
Okay. The SojuTalk Nation and Gochu Gang also voted. They gave it a 7.07.
Ooh.
High score. So as a result,
That's
6.77. That is a good score for Hearts2Hearts.
Nice.
Next one we have KATSEYE with Gabriela. Surprisingly, I also gave this one a 7.
Wow.
I like both of these songs a lot.
I enjoyed it. I think I kind of wish we would have done a little bit more. And maybe I just need to just focus on the audio version because the music video version is a little bit shorter. So I gave it a 6. I don't know. I like this much more than Gnarly. I'll say that. So I think we're on a good route.
Yeah, not that I expect them to continue making music of this style, but I mean, sometimes they miss, sometimes they hit. I think this is a hit. I think you go check it out. It's you don't really, it's not often you hear this kind of Latin pop in K-pop. It's done generally well, I think, too. I wasn't complaining about it. I have a 7.
7. And the SojuTalk Nation and Gochu Gang voted. They gave this one a 6.33, and as a result, it received a 6. Oh, that was our Gravity photos.
Douglas.
Oh my God.
We were sending the Gravity Goop photos to each other during the break. And as a result, KATSEYE receives a 6.58. I guess now I have to show the Goop photo.
Yeah,
so
just put it on the screen now. Yeah, might as well at this
Oh
point.
my God.
Okay.
Nah.
Guys, here's my favorite image from the Gravity.
Well, it's kind of disturbing. I don't like it.
It's too bad,
Hey,
Anita.
my boy's into the thick of it. We're gonna leave it right here, okay?
No.
No, let me just zoom out. Yeah.
Get the goop. Get the goop.
Yeah, I got the goop. Don't worry.
Okay. Anita, your turn. Wait, Baby Don't Cry with I'm distracted now. Baby Don't Cry with F Girl. Okay, I was gonna give this a worse score now. I was gonna give it a worse score originally when we started the pod, but I've been convinced. I listened to it a couple more times while we were talking about it. I'm gonna give it a 5. I think it was an okay attempt. I think we got a lot of room for improvement to see what we're going to do with Baby Don't Cry. I thought it was just aight.
I was also debating between two scores. I was between a 5 and a 6. I think overall, I'm gonna go with a 6. I think it's still an interesting sound. But like I said, I think it's hard to take Soyeon out of the conversation and not think about it. But maybe it's growing pains. Maybe it's gonna develop in the next release or so. So it's a 6.
I can't stop laughing because Doug is posting these Gravity teaser
Why,
photos,
Doug?
which are like, I don't know, maybe they'll get us demonetized on YouTube.
These are wild. These are wild. Okay,
right.
how would you think of Baby Don't Cry?
Yeah, get back on track. Baby Don't Cry. Sound-wise, concept-wise, with the F-Girl thing, I am willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because I can see how that mistake could be made. Do I think it's great? No. Music video controversies, I don't know. I feel like that's a little more complicated. I don't want to go there. So now I look at the song at its face value, and I feel like it's not terrible. It's not bad either. I think there's a good drive to it. The rhythm's nice. The members do a decent job of performing the thing and selling the thing. I didn't particularly feel like it came off as like lazy or like lethargic or anything. It felt like they knew what they were going for, but at the same time they're new. You know, I'm not expecting these kids to be like completely perfect at what they do. The song's fun. It's a little rebellious, but in the Disney Channel way. I don't know. This is about what you get. Doug, guess what I'm giving?
5?
6.
6. And the SojuTalk Nation and Gochu Gang voted. You want to see this score, guys? 4.52.
Wow, this is a little low, yeah.
And as a result, it receives a 5.38. Yeah. So the Soju scores this week are Hearts2Hearts Style with a 6.77, KATSEYE Gabriela with a 6.58, and Baby Don't Cry F Girl with a 5.38. Look at these gravity teaser shots. Let's get it. Anita, we got show winners. Hit us with them.
Yeah, we have a couple. Let's talk about that. First, I have 17 with Thunder. They won on EMP Countdown. They're at a total of 8 wins so far with that one. Then we have Doyoung. Hello, SojuTalk Nation. This is Anita here with a quick PSA. If you would like to support SojuTalk Kpop Podcast, please like, subscribe, or follow us on whatever platform you're using. And consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/SojuTalk or donating to us at paypal.me/SojuTalk. On behalf of the crew and myself, thank you. Now back to our regularly scheduled episode.
We are back at it with part 2 of SojuTalk episode 332. I'm sure many of you have heard of this news. It's the lead story this week we're going to cover. It is Ju Haknyeon's controversy. Let's leave it at that for now. So the first thing that happened is the boys and their agency announced that Ju Haknyeon will be temporarily suspending activities. 100 Entertainment, which is where the boys moved to, announced, please be advised that the boys member Ju Haknyeon will be temporarily suspending his activities due to personal issues. We sincerely apologize for causing concern to the B. I'm assuming that's their fan club. With the sudden news and ask for your understanding. Please continue to give your support and unconditional love to the boys. Thank you. So this was back on June 15th. So over a week ago. So 2 Sundays ago, right? This happened. But, you know, people go on hiatus, suspend activities for a multitude of reasons. Nothing too crazy, right? So everyone's like, oh, he's not going to be around for a while. I wonder what happened. Well, let's start escalating. First thing, 100 Entertainment announced that Ju Haknyeon had terminated his contract with the company and the boys will continue their activities with 10 members. That randomly dropped like 3 days later on Wednesday the 18th. And everyone was like, what the F just happened? Guy went from suspending activities to being kicked out of the company and the group within 3 days, right? So that dropped. Everyone was like, what's going on? Well, we got tidbits as to what's going on. First thing that happened, first thing that got announced, Ju Haknyeon reportedly met Asuka Kirara, who's a former Japanese AV / well, in America we'll say porn star, right? At a private Tokyo bar late in May, spending the night with her and allegedly, keyword is allegedly, offering her money. So people were like, is this a prostitution issue going on here, guys? And that's where we started with this. Everyone was like, what the F is going on? Because prostitution is very illegal in both Japan and Korea. So that's the basis of this. This is where we're going to start, right? This is what we knew on face value. Everyone's like, yeah, well, if he did that, I could see why they would kick him out of the company, right? Because that's illegal. So let's start there. And a lot of people tuned out at that point, right? They go, that's what happened. That's why he's not in the group. Okay. Now let's get into what happened since then. First one. Ju Haknyeon announced legal action against malicious articles and said he didn't agree to terminate his contract with 100 Entertainment. This is directly from his Instagram. Here are some quotes as to his statement. First one. Despite having clearly stated that I have not engaged in any illegal activities, I will take all legal action, both civic and criminal, against certain reporters and media outlets who continue to write malicious articles. He's referencing here, Warren, what's the name of the Japanese people who posted the article about this incident?
You're referring to the Korean news outlets, News One and then Tenasia.
Oh yeah, those ones. And then I believe there is also a not this one, Weekly Bunshun, which is a Japanese, essentially Japanese TMZ, right?
I can explain that in a second. That's a little more complicated, but yes.
Okay, so basically he said, I'm going to sue all these people who are writing these false things about me. And here's one of the quotes he said: if there is any evidence that I engaged in prostitution, please release it immediately. That's what he stated. Furthermore, I have not withdrawn from the team, nor have I agreed to the termination of my exclusive contract. Even though there are no grounds for contract termination explicitly stated in my contract, my agency is trying to fabricate such reasons. Some media outlets are also harming my reputation by mentioning prostitution without any basis. My agency demanded over 2 billion Korean won in compensation and told me to leave the company, but I have never accepted this. Despite this, the agency informed the media that the contract termination had been finalized. This is a clear falsehood. I want to ask if unilaterally expelling me from the team and coercing me into contract termination by citing over 2 billion Korean won in damage simply because I was present with the famous person at a private gathering is truly the attitude of an agency that should protect its artists ought to have. Wow.
Okay.
Lastly, he said, I did not accept the contract termination. My agency unilaterally sent a certified letter ignoring the procedure stipulated in the original contract, implying that the contract was terminated due to my fault, and even issuing a warning about damages. So he flat out denies everything, number one. Says, I'm going to sue everyone who's writing false things about me. Number two, if you do have solid evidence that I did this, please release it right now to get it out there. And then he then stated, I have not withdrawn from the group, and the company is pressuring me, and even announced that I left the group without me agreeing to it, and they're demanding 2 billion Korean won in compensation for things that I allegedly
Damages.
did.
Okay. Now, for context, sorry, so I've been skipping between different tabs here. Did he cover the first apology that came before this?
No. What did he say in the first one?
Before he released this press release, and this was before he was cut out of the group, he posted his personal handwritten apology on his Instagram. He made it clear, even in the narrative still stands. He made it clear that he only had a 술자리. He had a social drinking party with someone he is aware of, someone who knows, and he actually was there with the person that the articles are talking about sometime in the early AMs of May 30th, but he did not take part in any illegal activities, including and or not limited to prostitution, but he did apologize for creating a lot of stressful
because
situations.
Being seen with a former porn actress is not a great look if you're a celebrity in Korea, right? It's not a good look.
Right.
So he admitted it happened. I was there. I met her, but I didn't do anything illegal.
Here's that image if you want to pull it up, Doug, real quick.
Openly.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the original apology there.
And then what Doug just shared the translation to is like that's the
legal statement, more or less.
It's essentially, well, I didn't. There are people lying. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole other statement.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: some of this wording, like if there's any evidence, please release it. That's pretty strong. If they actually had proof that he did something, you know what I mean? Like.
Well, I think he's pretty sure of himself that that what they say happened didn't happen.
Right? Yeah,
right?
You wouldn't say that otherwise. If, like, let's say he stated this and then they released proof that he did, he'd look like an idiot, obviously.
It's over.
Right?
Right.
It's over.
So it's either he's making a very short-sighted public move, or he's actually that just honest and very confident that he did nothing wrong here.
All right, so that happened there. Next thing, the agency 100 issues statement denying his claims. They stated, we initially decided to suspend him after recognizing that the matter at hand could cause significant harm to the group's activities. We thoroughly reviewed the situation and we made him fully aware that the incident constituted grounds for contract termination under Article 6, Clause 3 of his contract, which refers to, here's the crux of this whole thing, quote, conduct that damages the dignity of an artist to the extent that it interferes with entertainment activities, end quote. We then made the decision accordingly. We affirmed that the termination of Joo Hak-yeon's exclusive contract was carried out in accordance with the contract's terms and was fair and a justified action. At the core of this matter is Joo Hak-yeon's avoidance of responsibility and repeated distorted claims. Should he persist in making such claims, we will pursue all legal action to protect our company and artists from harm, including submitting relevant evidence and documentation to the appropriate legal authorities. So they're basically saying, hey, this clause says that if you do anything that could hurt the perception, the dignity of an artist, you could get cut out of your contract. That's the gray area that would probably be fought out in court, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very blanket statement, to be honest, as a clause.
It is.
Little
right?
vague.
It is.
Because that means technically, like let's say there's two alternate universes here, right? First universe, he did something illegal. The evidence that he did something illegal comes out, okay, it was right for them to have kicked him out, right? The other universe, he didn't do something wrong. There were rumors that he did something illegal, and they're kicking him out based on rumors and not what actually happened. That's where this is gonna get really messy.
It is worth noting that 품위유지, how'd you translate that? The conduct that damages of dignity, that's laid out, and there's precedent for normal employees or like or government workers, and it's typically inclusive of like sexual abuse, prostitution, physical abuse, fraud, arson, gambling,
like really illegal things.
Right.
Really illegal things in Korea.
For employees, it may include like spreading false rumors about your employer, that sort of thing. We haven't really, if what Joo Hak-yeon is saying is true, we haven't, as far as I can tell, there hasn't been any precedence in terms of like, oh, he hung out with someone of a bad background, therefore this like violates our contract. Yeah, like this harms their dignity. Now, whether you personally agree with that or not, I think that's a completely different question, and that's up for you to decide. Whatever, but like, I don't know. Doug, how many more articles do you have on this?
I got like two more.
Yeah, let's cover those first. Yeah.
Next one, the female involved in this situation, she denied receiving money from him and engaging in prostitution. She said, many speculations are falling around, but the weekly Bunshin article in Japan has not been released yet. Please do not spread misinformation. I have never in my life received money for sexual acts, prostitution in private. Of course, that includes this time. A woman I met for the first time at the event that occurred, who seemed to like Joo Hak-yeon, took pictures and sold them to the newspaper or the media outlet.
So let me clarify what's going on with how Weekly Bunshin is involved. Shukan Bunshin, for all it's worth, it's Korean TMZ. Japanese TMZ. It's Japanese The Sun, Japanese Dispatch. Low-level paparazzi kind of thing. Someone claiming to be a Joo Hak-yeon fan took the photo and then sold the photo over to Weekly Bunshin is what's going on, and that made its way into Korean articles. Now, whether that person was actually a fan or a person working for Jukan Bunshin, I don't know, but like that's where that press is involved, and they do shady shit. So you make that judgment on your own. But if you look around the photos of them hanging out outside of this drinking party is and it's easy. It's pretty easy to find, I think. I'm looking at it right now in the Namu Wiki. Actually, the Weekly Bunshin article is it's public now behind the paywall. So, for the low price of $22 per month, you can.
Holy crap!
$22.
if you want to look at the photos, I'll send you a link. I don't know if you really want to.
I don't want to see them. I'm good.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's how it got to that news, that journal, basically. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to say journalists, more like paparazzis, but yes.
Paparazzi.
Yeah. Let's move on to the last article, Doug.
The last one was also just taken from his IG story. He's going over other things, talking about the money that the company demanded. He was talking about like he even stated at one point that he thought of ending his own life in this Instagram live story that he posted.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, he was saying like he felt like he became a sex offender overnight and he wanted to end things, but then he thought about his parents and his fans and things like that. And the main thing he says is he will hold journalists and media outlets who reported me as a sex criminal without any evidence fully accountable and will uncover whoever is behind this. And he says this has all been very exhausting. Yeah, and then here's the last thing. This is in regards to that damaging dignity stuff. He wrote, the clause in the exclusive contract is too vague and can be interpreted arbitrarily. That's why the contract specifies and defines such behaviors as drunk driving, drugs, gambling, prostitution, assault, sexual assault, and fraud. And he stated, I didn't do any of those things. And then he said, additionally, the agency kicked me out of the company and the group without following the termination procedures, which is outlined on a different article of the contract we signed. So it seems like we're gonna head to a legal battle on this, right? Because he's
It's at this point, as third party observers, we have no way of telling what exactly happened.
Yep.
We for a fact now know that they hung out to a certain degree. What happened outside of that, I don't know. Your guess is best mine. You know.
Yep.
It is worth noting to add a little bit of social context to this. Prostitution is not something that's taken very lightly in Korea at the moment. It is kind of a hot topic in the way press handles it these days. It is also worth noting that false claims of sexual abuse is also something that people are sensitive towards at the moment. Just how society is looking at different things at the moment over in Korea. So from Chu Hong-yeon's perspective, it's if he actually, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he actually didn't do any of this and all he did was hang out with this person for whatever reason. I can see how it'd be pretty stressful, to put it lightly, Now, from the company's perspective, I can see how this is going to be a huge road bump in making your comeback sell from now on. You know what I mean? It really feels like, I don't know. It just does not feel like a good situation to be in for either party, if I'm completely honest with you.
Yeah, it's not a good situation because like Joo Han-young, he's like, yeah, what I did wasn't probably the best look in the world, but I didn't do anything illegal. And from the company's perspective, the way they're saying things out loud, the 100 company, they better have proof, because if there's no proof he did anything bad and they're just like, we kicked them out because he hung out with someone we didn't like, that looks pretty bad, does it not? Right? Like,
well, I think that's all they have because I think that's what's gonna be debated and like what it's gonna come down to in court, right? Like whether such actions by an artist, which are not necessarily illegal, nothing illegal happened, but it's not considered good by the company, right? By the parent company. Do they hold the right to terminate a contract if they see fit? If they think like, we can't save your image. We can't, like, you did nothing illegal, but we can't deal with this. So we have to terminate your contract. Is that allowed? I don't know.
And like, I feel like here's the real kicker. Let's say Chu Hong-yeon is right. Let's give him that benefit, Let's say all he did was hang out and 100 kicked him out because he did something somewhat risky, The fact of the matter is, the way I see it, a large chunk of the boys' fandom is probably going to support the agency on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a large chunk of their fandom does not want their idol hanging out with a porn actress or former porn actress, I guess. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. I think it's really like normally when sometimes idols randomly leave a group or something like that, and everyone's like, wonder what happened there, but we never find out, right? A lot of the times, or like a trainee randomly leaves, right, or gets cut out or something, or like someone on a reality show just drops out, and you're like, what the f happened? And sometimes we get tidbits, but other times we get no information. This one's gonna play out in the public, right? That's a rare thing. We'll have to see. I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah.
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 Thank you for your coverage.
We'll see.
Hey, happier stuff. Suga officially discharged from the military. All BTS members are now free.
Nice.
Welcome
That's
back.
cool.
Welcome back, everybody.
Next thing, BTS reportedly making a comeback March 2026. So they do need some time to ramp up, figure this out. Makes sense.
All right. Yeah. Yep.
Let's get back in BTS shape. We'll learn all the dances again. Get good at dancing. Get good at singing. Do it up.
Nah,
get
they've
good
always
ideas.
been good.
Okay, let's keep going. Next thing, he came out of the military, but he already partnered with the Severance Hospital to establish the Minyoongi Treatment Center. He's donating $3.6 million to the center, which will support the treatment and social independence of children and adolescents with autism spectrum disorder.
Damn.
Ooh,
That's
Wow.
I don't know. That's a lot of fucking money. Good job, man.
Yeah,
That's
good
great.
job, good
Damn.
job. Next thing, we got some legal news for Big Enheim. So NewJeans' appeal, it failed. So it got rejected by the Seoul High Court. So the court ruled in favor of Adore upholding the restrictions and affirming that the group's activities must be conducted through the agency. So now we are in the they're still having the one major lawsuit about the contracts and stuff. But right now, you ain't gonna see many promotions from them unless it's through Adore.
Adore. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like. Yeah.
Damn.
I think the only NewJeans promotion this week was like Danielle appeared at some kind of event and she was in a blonde wig and people are looking for crumbs. That's what I'll say. Like that's like the extent of it right now. Adore released a statement. They were like, "Yep, we like this. This is what we think should happen." For the NewJeans NJZ side, where we need the smoking gun, right? Like what's like I don't know where it is or if it even exists, but like what's the critical piece that's going to get them over the line here to get out of these contracts? I really don't know. But we're gonna have to wait and see if there is such a thing.
To wait and see.
Next thing, Big Hit Music, new boy group reportedly debuting in August. They are currently in the midst of the final production. The group's name and members will be revealed soon. So this is the technically this is Big Hit proper. So we got BTS, TXT, this group. That's the lineage over there.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a Big Hit Music proper group.
All right. All right.
Wow.
Big expectations, of course. The two predecessor groups are doing extremely well. Yeah.
Looks like we got
Next.
the 5 members out already on public.
Apparently we do.
Yeah, someone saw all 5 of them at a airport, and now their information is public on Namawiki.
Okay, next thing. Blackpink reportedly making their comeback in early July. So people are like, we're still delaying this shit. We thought it was going to happen in June. So it got delayed, right? Fans are not happy. Number 2, YG responded to this saying, please check through official promotions later. Well, we found out. They said, no, we're going to reveal the comeback song for the first time on the tour. So...
On the tour?
Yeah, so they're going to debut it at the Goyang concert, which holds a significant starting point of the Deadline tour. Let's just put it this way. The fans are not happy about this. They're not happy. And I know I checked last night. Let me see if I can find it in my history of looking things up. Let's just put it this way, that they are not selling the tickets of the concert too well right now in the American side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I cannot find it at the moment, but like I know I saw the images last night of some of the concerts. It was particularly like Montreal I think it was Toronto. Too well. Like the entire front section was like open still, I think.
When
Let me
is
do one
the tour set to start again?
in like 3 weeks, Anita.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like happening now, I believe. Let me look this
Oh.
up. Yeah, they're in Inglewood on July 12th. We got like 3 weeks before this is happening.
3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, let me. You know what?
All right.
I'm on Ticketmaster right now. Let me see. Let me see if I can get the live image. Let me get the live image. It's loading in.
Let's say you want to buy some tickets. You know?
Oh yeah. Okay, I got it. Here's the image.
Oh.
Look at the amount of blue in the front, guys.
The blue is available.
These are all available seats, guys.
Well.
Look at this entire section. Let me see how much it is. Here's the real crux of this. 365 Canadian. Not that expensive.
Doug, do you wanna? I have the link for the LA venue.
Okay.
If you look in the chat.
All right, we're in LA. What day is this? Day 1 or day 2? Is there 2 days? I don't know how many.
Pretty early, July 12th. So like we're still like 3 weeks away from this, you know?
No, I was asking, is this the first day in LA or the second day?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I mean, you could just click the... Okay, this one sold out pretty well. So I don't know what's going on in Toronto specifically on day 2 of Toronto, but this one's really sold out. So I guess it's varying a lot between the various dates. Okay, was that July 12th? I'm gonna look at July 13th, and we'll keep going from there. Second day in Toronto.
Or LA.
Or in LA. This one there are a lot more seats, but you know, they're selling pretty well. I guess it depends on the venue. But some of the venues on some of the days are not doing incredibly well. And I saw a lot of people, their fans are demanding that the music video be released before the tour. Like, what are we doing? Like, how can we do this big comeback tour and not get the music video out? You know what I mean?
I mean,
you want me to go even crazier about Blackpink?
Sure.
So Jennie won a lawsuit against a man pretending to be her father who made a book about her life that was made with AI. And it turned out the man who was claiming to be her father is a Korean entertainment PD. And then Jennie's side provided birth documents and proved that that's not her dad.
What the fuck?
It
how is
happened.
that even happening? What in the world?
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is what happened.
Well, I'm
There's
glad
a
it's
man
figured out.
who released a book about Jennie's life, right? And the book featured fictional narratives involving Jennie, and Psy was in the story too, participating in AI simulations at a global center, right? And then it turns out that this man is a PD in the entertainment industry, who's a TV producer and filmmaker, and he started off the book by stating he was Jennie's father. And throughout the entire legal case, he kept saying, "I'm Jennie's father," but then Jennie provided documents that showed this man's not her father.
Well, yes, of course.
That's crazy.
Some clowns we have in the clown town over here. The
Isn't
fuck?
that crazy? Isn't that crazy? But if you look it up,
That's
that's what
insane.
the court case states happened.
You've got to be making this shit up. God, what the fuck?
I'm not. That's what apparently happened. You know, and people are like, yeah, there's no information about her dad, so it's like someone's her dad though, right? But
not him.
Not him though.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
People out there.
I'm trying to find more information about this fucking book.
Right? And the court basically ruled, like, you gotta destroy every copy of this book. You're not her dad. What the F is this?
You're
Get rid of
not
all
her
this.
dad.
Like, yeah. Isn't that insane that happened?
Oh,
is.
man.
Yeah, like, Jennie brought up the family registry and said, like, look, this man's not my father. It's a different dude. And then the defendant's claims all got thrown out the window.
This guy needs help.
Yeah.
Straight guy needs help. Is what it is. Like,
It was an AI-generated novel using her name and logo on the cover. in the prologue, he said he stated that Jenny's my daughter.
The fuck is this book about?
It's Jenny and Sai going through AI training or something at an AI center.
Crazy.
All right.
That's nuts, right? All right. I think the rest of this is kind of falling action.
Yeah.
Alex Warren and Rose releasing On My Mind, released June 26th. That's some Rose crumbs right here.
Wow.
Cool. Next thing we got is C9 Entertainment to debut a new boy group 5 years after Epics. This C9 company is okay. Let me do a Doug typical thing here. This is a shit company, guys. let's be honest here. This is a shitty company. They have CIX and Epics, right? Beijing Young left CIX. This is the company that sexualized the Signature Kids, right?
Oh right, yeah.
Damn.
This is a terrible company.
Yikes.
Like, this is also the former company of Jung Jun Young. We know about him, right? Like, there's not much good about this company, guys. Yeah. Just wanted to state that. Those are my personal opinions. Yeah. Let's keep going. Next thing, I-Illy1, which was a sort of smaller girl group. They basically had a recent show, and at the show announced this is their last show. So they 갑자기 disbanded. It just happened. And a lot of these members were contestants on Girls Planet 999. My issue with this group is, the only issue I have with this group is when you Google their name with the semicolon, you can't Google it. I don't know who decided that, but I think that was a terrible idea. But yeah, this group founded in 2022, and they're donezo, it seems.
Wow.
R.I.P. Let's keep going. Next one. Treasure Pulse on tour and September comeback. Kind of cool for Treasure. Next thing, Idol is joining KCON LA. We're now in the nice era where actually big artists go to KCON LA now. You remember, like, not too long ago, KCON was more for smaller artists, but now even the big dogs are going to it. So that's pretty exciting.
Nice.
There. And then the final thing, big trigger warning. Let me end the show and then we'll do this last news thing. It's about Taeyil. I got news about that.
Okay.
Next week in terms of music, from Miss Nine, Haiki, Aespa, Alex Warren and Rose, Pao, Wano, Nuera, Wanas, Hansongwoo. That's the music. Let me transition to the Taeyil news. Can I do that real quick?
Why is news so stressful these days? Trigger warning, everybody. Goodbye.
If you don't want to hear about Taeyil, you should leave now. See you guys next week. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. He admitted to all charges of essentially gang rape.
Oh,
ew, man.
I'm not gonna read this all, but they have like a timeline as to what happened. And the worst, I'm just gonna hide this. The worst thing is, while admitting to the facts of the indictment, his side pleaded for leniency, stating, quote, "We submitted a letter of surrender to the police, and after much difficulty, we reached a settlement with the victim, who is Chinese, and received a statement that they do not wish for punishment." So they gave them a shit ton of money and say, write a statement that you don't want him to be tried for this.
That's even worse.
That's just
What?
disgusting, man.
Yeah,
What
they
the
did the
heck?
crime, and then they even had a group chat apparently after they did the crime about what they're going to do to get out of the crime.
No.
So he admitted to all of it. And then lastly,
He's done.
the prostitution is demanding a 7. Okay, Korean legal system is a bunch of bullshit, but the prosecution wants a 7-year prison sentence, which seems to be like the max they could get. Which in America he would probably get like double-digit years minimum, but Korea's like that. Yeah. You know what? Let me get this off my screen. Here's a better picture. That's me as a lobster. Okay, that's a better image. We'll leave it on that one at the end.
Go check out Style by Hearts2Hearts. I like that song.
Yeah,
Did
That's
you?
a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know how you feel.
Hey
look,
guys, Are we excited for From Miss 9? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Are we
Yes,
excited for
yes,
aespa?
Hell yeah.
Are we excited
yes.
for One Ho's Body?
Hell yeah.
Are we excited for Hansungu? Hell yeah. Let's get it.
Hey, come
this
to
is
the
SojuTalk.
Discord if you want to rate aespa songs for the Soju Bomb
Yes,
Bro,
next
yes.
week.
the,
next week.
The news this week was insane. Like, none of the things we like to cover. We want, like, happy, fun news. It's like, Korea got invaded by puppies. Wow. Fantastic. That's the kind of news we want. And they did a K-pop dance. That's what we want to talk about, guys. But we are committed to informing you on stuff that's going on, even if we're not-
The world is falling
Unsavory
apart,
stuff.
but at least we have decent music. Thank you
Hey,
for
stay
joining
safe,
Soju
everyone.
Talk.
Stay hydrated. See you guys then. Bye,
Yes.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And here's an extra special shout out to all of our Fiesta Patreons on patreon.com. Bagel, Charles, Cotton Ball, Ellie, Gogu Mama, Honey Pools, Incoming Snail, Liam's Games and Toys, Natalie, NJ Parks, South Texas Once, Siu Sumi. And thank you for joining Soju Talk, your weekly shot of K-pop. Thank you, really.